Hello everyone, this is Darryl20 and welcome to episode 52 of Darryl20's FTB Evolution Let's Play series, where today I'm taking a look at this whole thing I did. I came in here and I noticed my fluid was empty, or not empty, full, completely full, which I was just like, oh, how'd you back stuff already? And then I looked and we had like 64 buckets of latex, and then I looked at this setup and I realized that I told you to only insert when we have more than 64 buckets, and I originally, from Mechanism, had a tank that could only hold 64 buckets. So basically what happened is the tank down there filled up to 64, but it didn't export because we didn't have more than 64. So as a result, we backstuffed our whole system with bad design. So very simple solution. Real quick, I broke the tank and then upgraded it to an elite fluid tank, which holds 128 buckets. So now it like dumped all the fluid that had backstuffed in the pipes and in the fluid extractors, and now it's currently processing it all into plastics for me, which is cool. And now we're getting plastics. So foregoing automation, every time I do the foregoing automation, I try to make it a little bit better. And I feel like this is a super optimal design, right? Like it's really pretty slick. Now that said, it's about time to do some dissolution chamber crafting. So that's where we're going to go right now. So for the dissolution chamber, let's go ahead and start planning for stuff. So advanced machine frames, we're going to want to know how to make. I don't know if we need all the add-on ranges, but I could probably do like the add-ons, and we don't need all the lenses either. At least not yet. Maybe at some point. Supreme probably are going to want that. We'll see. Oh, is this a thing for later? This looks like a thing for later. Yeah, that's an FTB evolution thing. So that's gonna be a thing we're gonna want to pay attention to at some point. I do like the add-on efficiency tier 2. We're probably gonna want pink slime and simple machines. What else in here are we gonna want to have? Processing tier 2, speed tier 2. Ooh, that's a thing. Prismatic zirconium. Ooh, I recognize that stuff. I know that stuff. All right, so those are the initial things we're gonna want to automate, right? So dissolution chamber can go off. Do you have some kind of like auto select thing that you're doing there? Because I don't know if I want that. But anyway, here, let's go ahead and add. So you're good, but you're gonna want that. We're gonna need to set up a pink slime producer, which shouldn't be a problem because we already have a dark room. You know what I mean? So we should be able to handle that. We are going to eventually need an ether gas maker. We're also probably going to want to make, because I'm assuming Industrial Foregoing Souls is in the pack. Yeah, it is. So we're going to eventually want to consider having like tick acceleration by use of souls, right? So that'll be cool. We're going to want you, which looks pretty doable. We're going to want to see if we have more patterns handy. We do, so that's cool. We're going to want pink slime ingots. We're going to want you. Oh, good. I already know how to make those. Good job, previous dyer. And then you. Remember how I keep saying I should teach it how to make a furnace? Mission accomplished. And then we're going to want you to know making this stuff. So that should all be cool, right? And then just because it's a little bit easier than having to scroll through that list, I should be able to come down here and zoinks, and now we're ready to rock, right? So now, from foregoing, we should have no problem making like one of each of these. And then let's make sure that your side config, good, you're set to push to bottom. So that should auto-export. Nice. Do I need to set this on pin auto-crafted items? Yes, I love that feature. I updated the pack between episodes. New version just dropped. So yeah, there's probably going to be a few little settings like that didn't carry over. Grains of Infinity. That's going to be a thing. Okay, so why do you need Grains of Infinity, Chief? What about you? Screams, I need Grains of Infinity. Which one is that? That was you, which needs FTB gears. Oh, it's the gears. The gears needs grain. So you either make gears with Grains of Infinity, or you make gears with immersive engineering, or modern industrialization, which sounds super fun. Remember us playing with that before. When and if I don't know. I have to find out how much of modern industrialization we're going to need to get to. On one hand, I really liked the Factorio-esque nature of it. And I think when we do it again, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing it like the right way, where I make something that's dedicated to crafting all the things we want to craft, right? So that there's no longer like waiting for things to craft. It truly acts like a factory where it's like constantly producing stuff and then like, and then having it available for when we want to use it so that we're not waiting for crafts, because that's really the way that mod is designed to work. So that's definitely a thing. But anyway, Grains of Infinity. So that's the fire. So we can either do the mystical, or we could have like a fun automation mechanic to it, right? So we can light things on fire. So really it works with like almost any block. Are there like chances here? Like, so you get more drops with bedrock. But like, we could also just use deep slate or endstone or something. Ain't no reason not to. There's also bees, and then there's also the extractor, which, in fairness is a thing. Every 10 seconds it'll produce a grain of infinity. So on one hand, this is kind of a funner setup. On the other hand, this is a mod that I don't use often and probably could have fun taking advantage of. You just need reinforced obsidian block and it'll produce it with cobbled deep slate all around. And then I don't need to have the campfire deal. I like that. I guess the campfire is just optional because it's the same doohickey either way. We are going to need some dark steel though, if we're going to go that route, which I think will require EnderIO. But that's fine. I'm fine to jump into EnderIO real quick. Okay. Let's try that route. Extractor. Do I need like a bunch of stuff here? Yeah, I need that and I need stuff. So you're gonna need an item port, which I can make from dude. And then you're gonna need you. And then talk to me about aluminum or aluminium. Raw aluminum we can process how? We can do like the standard thing with it, right? So we should be able to enrich it, right? And that becomes 3 to 4. And that's probably enough, because we don't need a ton of aluminum. And we're going to get a ton of aluminum. Right? And then if we need more, we can bees it. But at this point, I'm not going to go do bees unless, like, we need more. Which I don't think we do. It's very funny how that netherite furnace works. It like waits until it's not cooking to decide to push to the back, but then sometimes it pushes to the back. So I don't know. Anyway. But now I can get this dude, which is cool, right? And then we need to get you. So let's do some EnderIO smelter, right? We're going to want the alloy smelter, which means we're going to need a bunch of things that we don't necessarily have just yet. We will probably need to go get some grains of infinity, which means grabbing some flint and steel and hitting up bedrock real quick. Which remember, there's like a little bedrocky weirdness thing over here-ish, right? And because I don't need like a ton of these grains, because like what I'm doing right now is designing a grains automation thing, right? I can just kind of like manually make a few. And be fine, right? As long as I get a few to get the ball rolling, then I'm good to go, right? Now we're gonna need some dark steel ingot in order to make this thing, but like we'll get there when we get there, right? Void chassis, that's easy enough to make. I can add that to the to-do list for auto crafting. So home, ready to go. Okay, so I'd like you to know how to make that, which you should have no problem with. And is there anything else that you should know how to make? Probably you, Cauldron. Even though that's easy enough to make, might as well add it to the autocrafter, because, you know. Hey, somehow I already have dark steel ingots, so that's cool. I must have gotten them somewhere. That just saves me the hassle of having to create the simple smelter, dude. And I'm no problem, right? I am cool with that. Now my question is, should we do a dedicated little area for EnderIO machines? Probably, because we know we're going to eventually have like all the other ones, right? So we might as well toss this down there in some kind of like, you know, room. I'm thinking, would 3x3 be sufficient? That might be cool, just for like a, oh yeah, that's different than I normally do it kind of deal. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll need you, please, for a moment. Loving it. When you get into the swing of like smoothness, it's fun to be able to easily knock that out, right? And then what I'm thinking is we could have like the alloy smelter, and then we will have like eventually the crusher, and then we could have some of like the other ones up there. Is that roughly a cool idea? So it's kind of like a vertical-ish design that I don't normally do. Cool with that. Probably didn't mean to still be in hammer mode, but not the end of the world, as it were. Did I make the... Oh, that's right. I was going to say, like, wait a second. Yes, that makes more sense. Yes, much better. Actually, I do want you in hammer mode, just so I can do this. And then that should be cool enough for now. Okay, cool. And then I can do something like a cable. We'll power stuff down to here with a flux point. Yay, all the powers. And then behind, we'll have like a pattern dude. And now here's a real question. Cabling over here? I don't actually know if we have anything even like remotely close. But for you, oh, that's right, we need the capacitor, right? I always forget about those. But I should have no problem using an existing one. I don't know which... All these numbers throw me off. I'm like, is this good or bad? Is this better? Is this better than default capacitors? Let's EnderIO capacitors. Let's just teach you how to make, you know. So now coal dust we can probably get from a mechanism crusher. So we'll just toss that in that dude. But then the energetic alloy we're definitely going to need from alloy smelting, right? So we'll put that in that dude. And then same kind of deal here. You can have that recipe, and then you need this recipe to do that, right? Crusher, crushing machine. Cool. And then I can yoinks back here to get this dude set up. And then we'll start with a basic capacitor, obviously, because we can't even make the other ones yet. And there you go. And then you should be charging. Nice. All right. Let's do like a quick deep dude here. Do we have anything going on in this general direction, or like not even close? So what I should probably consider, unless Man, I never removed that refined storage cable. Goodness gracious, Dyer, how long ago did I convert? To be fair, I did leave those guys for that purpose, but that's right, I did the wireless connector. I remember now. And then over here, I left this up because I think it was our link to... Wasn't this the link to the create area? I think that's what I did. So then if I want like a smart thing going on here, you would probably... so you're routing what? You're routing that way. So that's this dude, who in fairness, I don't have the dense cabling set up for just yet, and probably should. But neither do I have it for this guy just yet, and probably should, only by virtue of the fact that like we're on the config where we get so many channels. And this is always a problem with my design. Like, how do I branch out from here? And like, oh look, there's drawers there. Like, in fairness, I could just like break this one drawer, and then tunnel right through it. So like, there's no harm in actually doing that. I might actually do that even just to be cool about it. Because realistically, anything on this side of the base, like I'm doing for EnderIO, should be coming off this side of the controller, right? And then anything in that side of the base should be coming off this side of the controller, and then this dude should be doing that. But like, I'm also not doing a good job of that because like I have a bunch of stuff on that side of the base, which is all coming off of this side of the controller. So like, I'm breaking all the rules. Oh, in fairness, I also have like the downside happening here. So like, this is doing its thing. Now I could definitely just branch out in that direction. So I might do that. In fairness, I'm not going to have as many like problems with channels as I usually do. Only because like I just won't, right? Yeah. Like, ain't no reason I can't just do this, right? So what we could have, at least for now, because we're going to have so many more channels available to us, right, by virtue of the configs, that we can be a little bit, I don't want to say a little bit more sloppy, but a little bit more sloppy, right? So this is the same frequency, right? So I basically just need to get a bunch of cables here, but I'm going to want like a lot of these. Please. And then you're just going to want to probably be like a P2P here, right? And then that loads up from that. And then if I ask for a capacitor, I should be able to craft this, no problem, because now this guy's online and he should be cooking. Cool. And you're probably only going to want to be in alloys mode. I can't imagine I'll ever smelt anything down here. I like that. Okay. And then for you... range 3, vertical wall. Perfect. And then anchor, facade, doohickey. Just trying to make things look nice in my base. Cool. Realistically, you should be doing the same. You should all be doing the same. Wonder how much I'm breaking by just like randomly and haphazardly disconnecting parts of my network. Guess we'll find out if anything explodes. Right? But now you're cooking. And your side config push-pull, right? Not a problem. Sweet. And now you're done. Cool. And then, obviously, one more thing we're going to want to teach you is going to be dark steel, which is going to be you, right? And you can go back to a range of 1. Nice. So then I should be able to say, because what I wanted to make, let's remove all this and you from the to-dos. And grains of infinity need to be over one of these dudes, right? So I need you to know how to make this. Cool. So now, if I want a reinforced doohickey, you should be cooking, right? And then I should also be able to get my capacitor that I just made and speed this up in a significant way. Right? Good times being had. Okay, so then I should be able to do this and be happy. Okay. And then you are going to get this duded, and your deal is that you'll be back here with some of the other automations that exist. Now, for this to work, you need to be surrounded by cobbled deep slate on all 4 sides, which I assume I have no problem getting. Yes. So if I... Is that cool? And then a functional storage drawer with a nice lock on it once something goes in there. Is that it? Do I need the campfire? I assume it looks like JEI is saying I don't need the campfire, but I can't tell if I need the campfire. I mean, I could throw one under there. It's not going to hurt nothing, but, you know. Now it's doing animations, so I assume that that's like an indicator that it found a valid recipe. And then in a moment, we'll be cool. And to be clear, you're linked to this guy, so there you go. So now lock and link, and we're good, right? And now we have literally unlimited grains of infinity, provided, of course, that we're patient, which I'm always patient. It's working. That works for me. Dyer's a very patient person. Pretty sure Soren made it so I can't tick accelerate these, can I? Is that a new little doohickey? That's cool. That's neat. It's showing me like a nice little overview thingy. That's pretty spiffy. So that's 32x speed. I don't think that that's actually making a difference, because it's supposed to be 1 every 10 seconds by default. So we should have gotten, like, you know, a lot more by now. So... yeah, I was pretty sure Soren, the president of abusing tick accelerators, is like, no tick accelerating my mod. That's okay. I understand his concerns. They are, in fairness, valid. If you know what you're doing, tick accelerating is fine. Especially if you're in a single-player world, like I usually am. And it's especially useful for when you're, like, recording YouTube videos, because, like, waiting for things to finish is boring. So I'm trying to be efficient with my recording schedule and be able to say, like, hey, look, I did a thing. And you guys don't have to wait for me, and also I don't have to wait for me. to get stuff, right? I can tick accelerate it so that I can keep the episode moving and I don't have to do like a lot of off-camera work, which, you know, suits me just fine. Now, is that mod in this pack that has like the crazy high add-ons? It doesn't appear to be, which I'm okay with, because the 1 or 2 times I played with that mod, I enjoyed it, but also I was like, yeah, this is a little OP. But I also enjoyed it. But we have the souls thing, so if we want to, you know, tick accelerate with that, also viable. Cool. So then I can get a few more add-ons. Gonna need some more grains, but like we'll get there when we get there, right? Yeah, we need the grains for all the gears. But like idle for an hour and we'll have more grains than we'll ever need. Probably. Now let's start planning for the darkroom augmentations. So I'm going to use the existing darkroom that I have, right? I can turn you off by just clicking these dudes, right? And now we have a nice darkroom where we can handle 2 things. We can do our standard foregoing setup for the crusher, right? And the meat making thing, the mob slaughter factory. It got there. My brain got there in the end. So like that's right, we're gonna need pink slime to get the crusher. So we need the slaughter factory first, right? We just need to teach you this stuff. Yeah, buddy. And probably just make a couple of you. And make a couple of you. So I'm not using like cool enchanted stuff. That's better, right? And I think what we'll do is we will save this build for next episode. But basically, I'm going to want to augment this setup. I want a lever. Right. Now that's interesting. How am I getting soul bits when I'm not? That's interesting. I get soul bits even though I'm not using the sword? Is that also true for things like using my normal sword? Well, I'm definitely getting that, like, first attack equals extra damage thing, which is cool. Look at how wicked those bad guys are. They are wicked spirits. That's cool. So why do I suddenly get spirits now without, you know... Is it because I'm, like, soul augmented or ruined or something? I assume it has something to do with something? Is it one of my packs? I don't know. But I'm liking it. It's very cool. I thought I would need to keep my other sword, my Malum sword. I thought I would need that. Wonder if I can throw Spirit Plunder on this sword. That would be cool too. Wonder if it can even go on this, right? Spirit Plunder. This has never been very consistent in terms of showing me what things can actually receive, right? But, oh, look, you can see that Bale's Edge. That's that, like, secret hidden-y thingy, right? Like, you can't even look that up. If you look up the recipe for that, it, like, doesn't even show up over here, I think. I might be wrong. Oh, maybe I might be wrong, actually. It's something different. Anyway, what was I saying? Spirit Plunder. Yeah, you. Can you go on, like, all weapons or only Malum weapons? So Iron's tools, or some kind, can get them. I wonder if it's like... Looks like Iron's stuff can do it, which is interesting to me, because it makes me wonder if there's, like, some special configuration for Malum and Irons. No. Anyway, let's wrap up the episode here. We'll come back next time. I'm going to do ye old meat plus... That's right, I turned you off. Meat plus pink slime factory setup. You know, pretty standard. I've done it like a million times, so you should have a rough idea of what I'm going to be building. Though it occurs to me now, I may have put this too close to the chunk edge, but I could always cut and paste it if I need to. Pretty cool. And we'll do episode-y things next episode. So for now, Dal20 sign off. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. For now, take it easy.